Any information, manuals, books, people, consciousnesses, past, present and future, multidimensional, dead, alive, there is no such thing as dead, okay? Everything is archived and available. You just have to ask. What will happen to me if I ask for information from so-and-so X? Your power will increase stratospherically. You will have his mental and emotional knowledge. Oh, I don't want the emotional, I only want the mental. No problem. Remember that every human has 7 bodies. Physical, double, emotional, mental, 3 spiritual bodies. All separate. The system is very well organized. You only want one body, that's fine. I only want information about his mental. Okay. Oh, I want the emotional, too. Okay. Just the emotional. Okay. So, if all this is available, why isn't it requested? Are you afraid of growth? Afraid of evolution? You change, the environment changes. No, but my goals are only this small size here, with parallel hands, he makes a gesture that represents, little, small. Okay, apparently no problem. The only problem is that, inserted in a mechanistic and materialistic paradigm, you are subject to the materialistic organization of existence. And, when you organize yourself without considering the rest of the information in the universe, with only a small piece of it, it becomes difficult. The consequences are inevitable. It's a bit schizophrenic, isn't it? It's a schizophrenic civilization, because it only sees a small piece of reality, and wants to get results. I stick with my mechanistic, materialistic paradigm, but depending on the bank manager releasing my overdraft, the judge ruling in favor of the lawsuit, finding someone, solving a bunch of little problems, etc. There is no solution in the current, materialistic paradigm, which I don't want to change. I don't want to change, because I don't want to leave my comfort zone. What do you do in 5,000 years, 100,000 years, 500,000 years? People look for a shaman, a pastor, a priest, a holy mother, a holy father, a sorcerer, a witch doctor, and so on. The names don't matter, the function is the same. I don't have to change anything, and the person looks for a specialist in the other paradigm, someone who sees all realities, knows how to work with all of this, and it's easy, right? They hire a little service, a little binding, right? Or they send someone to another dimension, which is what many want. Or do you think that's not how it works on this planet? In many places there is a little house, a little door, where it says, "We do any business, 100% guaranteed." Can you believe that a binding is 100% guaranteed? There is no such thing. It's impossible. Any binding will depend on the other person's mind, on what they think, what they feel. It's not like that, the person is not an ox. We create our reality. The physics involved in binding is a very complicated process, it is not trivial. And there are those who say they guarantee 100% efficiency, because there is brutal competition among sorcerers. Soon they will be guaranteeing 110% efficiency. Why is this possible on this planet? Because no one understands that atoms exist. And what do? You don't need to be a nuclear physicist, you just need to know about protons, neutrons, electrons, electromagnetic fields. What does this field do? It sends, it returns. How does it work? It is rudimentary. No one is asking you to make an atomic bomb, you won't even be able to do that. The first question you ask on Google about this, wait. It is elementary. If a discovery like resonance provokes so much resistance, the consequences are very complicated. Why is resonance available? To buy a house and an apartment? It doesn't drop that, does it? It's hard to understand. Why were the 7 quantum physicists born at the same time on this planet, all in 1920? They could have each been born in a different century. Quantum mechanics wouldn't exist today, because they wouldn't have been able to talk to each other. They only reached conclusions because they talked and exchanged opinions, and they arrived here as quantum physicists, they just remembered. Evolution must happen anyway, whether we like it or not. It's impossible to stop it. In the meantime, what do we do with resonance? A tremendous power at the disposal of 70, 80 people, for now. For now. Or do you think that this information will never leave this room, never leave Santo Andre, Sao Paulo? No matter how much it is ignored, it cannot be prevented from being disclosed. It is very easy to accept the existence of a little CD, no one questions what it can contain. But someone puts the CD in a device to measure the hertz, and says to my client, it is not possible to have here what Hélio said it has. Perhaps some of those present have already heard this. How will the person evaluate this work with the eyes of the current paradigm? Do you realize how difficult it is to understand this? They will try to read the hertz on the CD, when it has already been said that the recording is not in this paradigm, but in another. Imagine a person who leaves the lecture and calls all his acquaintances, to find out if there is a machine on the planet that records what Hélio explained. Guess what they say to him? There is no machine that records what Hélio said. Therefore, it cannot exist. But, incredible as it may seem, week after week, year after year, I have 30 people to see every Thursday, 12 hours of non-stop service. You see how it is. There is a line, I have to be quick, because there are many people with problems. It is not that I want to get rid of people right away, but since many have problems, I cannot spend much time with just half a dozen. And what about those who are suffering incredibly? No one talks, but many people talk in front of me. I have to be quick, because there are many people with problems, because they do not understand how the universe works, but when they understand, no one will come to see me anymore. When they understand, my work will be over, because there will be no more problems on the face of this earth. But until then, we will have a long way to go. Because humanity, to a large extent, refuses to understand the substance of this knowledge. So, they will continue to have problems with unemployment, money, relationships, health, everything, because of the paradigm, the stories they have heard. The mind creates its own reality, according to what it believes. If you are told a lot of little things, in life, you believe them, you don't question them, and, worst of all, when you become an adult and someone asks you, guys, do you think, your first reaction is to say, burn him, shoot him in the head, eliminate that guy. Isn't that right? That's why resonance is here. Because theory alone isn't enough, you have to put it into practice. No one will lose their individuality by using information. They will only become more intelligent, more perceptive, with a tremendous expansion of mind, stronger, more powerful, more everything. Infinitely. Without limits. Of course, within a human biological body, there are certain limitations, but people are using very little of the physical capacity they have. They don't even imagine all that is possible to do with their body. But they don't ask. They don't ask. Do you remember the last lecture? Libido is available. How many requests did I receive? 1. And what do I hear? Rumor. What am I going to do with this? That's right. The entire middle class on the planet is stuck on Maslow's second step, relationships and sex. For many, that's all there is. Until this is resolved, nothing else can be resolved. Well, I'll talk about Maslow in a future lecture. But why is there so much teaching about manifestation, about prosperity? For people on the first step to earn their money, eat and jump to the second step. So, they teach the second step, then they jump to the third step, then someone talks about the third step, and they jump until they reach the fifth step, so that they can really think about the important things. But until they go through the steps, they are stagnant, they don't get out of it. However, when they are offered the possibility of understanding the second step and getting out of it, no requests appear, they don't know what to do with it. Yes, I know, I have 800 anamnesis on the table. That's what I hear most. The people on the first step don't come, they don't even know that I exist. Only those on the second step show up. Those on the third step don't know that I exist either, nor do those on the fourth or the fifth. The people on the fifth step are stuck in the stories, they don't come here. Only those on the second step come. So what did I offer? Power? No, there is information that transfers libido. Do you want it? No. What am I going to do with it? Of course, it won't do anything. I already knew that the answer would be that. I just prodded to see. Sometimes you have to kick the chair a few times to see if it moves. Why don't people know what to do with their libido? Have you understood that, within this current paradigm, there is no solution? It's like this, you stimulate on one side, you repress on the other. Sociology studies this. The system of domination that exists on this planet is archetypal. When work like this is done throughout the universes, it will be copied, it will be a case study. What was planet Earth like? How do we do it? In a paradigm like this, there is no solution for relationships and there can be no solution for sex. There is no point in offering it. It's available. Do you want it? No, they are in a state of shock. What am I going to do with it? Many years ago, when I was working with cassette tapes, subliminal, for liminal, but generic, they stole everything and I stopped working with that type of product, and developed resonance. I also thought a lot at that time, should I make a tape about sexuality, or not? Will it become something vulgar? Will they discredit my work because of that? Will they pirate all these tapes about sexuality and, as I walk down Avenida São João, I will see, at the door of a porn cinema, my tapes being distributed to those who go to the session? After much analysis of this issue, I decided to take the risk and do it, so I could help some people. Do you know what happened? Do you know how many tapes I sold? 1. Just 1. And hundreds of people came to the lectures. With the release of just one tape, nothing changes. Now there is resonance, I am offering it in the same way, and nothing happens. Only one tape was sold. See how difficult it is to make a change, how difficult it is to get people out of their comfort zone. Something is offered that has infinite possibilities of information available and this is not used. What is used? Manuals, PIS, Caixa Econômica Federal, Guarantee Fund, CPA 20, CPA 10, certifications, Banco do Brasil, Canon. Some books and handouts for public exams have thousands of requests. But that's it. Basically, that's it. And I get those more esoteric requests, like, the manager release my special check. That's why no physicist in the first world does this work. Why isn't there an American, a German, an Englishman, a Dutchman, with resonance in his hands? Have you noticed? They think that a physicist like that would have the patience of Job. Thank goodness there is information about Job so I can put it on my CD and have his patience, so I can listen to the requests. Since physicists don't know that resonance can transfer Job to them, they don't even say anything. When one of them comes to give a lecture here, as happened recently, and a businessman approaches him and says, I want to hire you, to increase my company's revenue, he responds, I won't do that, so as not to go through that hassle. Because the same thing would happen. As soon as the speaker says, entanglement, spin, double slit, a businessman sticks to him and wants a consultancy to increase revenue. And then, logically, all the rest of the requests come. He comes, you already know who I'm talking about, don't you? Amit Goswami publishes a book, 2, 3, 10, gives lectures, and goes on television. On television he is bashed in every way. What crime is he committing? Just trying to explain that a person sends an electron, and it passes through two holes. What's the problem? He hasn't even said anything very remarkable yet. Imagine when he starts talking. But, in the last book, he said a few little things, right? But he's not going to offer quantum sex. Do you remember the listener who said, "I'm not going to do that"? Well, I said, "I'm going to do it, because I want to see if people will move." I offered it. It didn't help. So, okay, let's leave it the way it is. Here are some conclusions. Nobody wants to progress. Nobody wants to evolve. Nobody wants to grow. Nobody wants to earn more money. Nobody wants to be an exceptional director of a multinational company, a scientist, excellence in any subject. Why? Why is it possible to have excellence in any field? Because there is something called an archetype, which is the blueprint for everything that exists in the universe. Everything that exists has an archetypal blueprint. The archetype is information. Everything that is energy is the same as information. An archetype is energy, therefore it is information. Therefore, it is possible to select all the information from an archetype and transfer it to whoever wants it, to whoever asks for it. The archetype is the pinnacle, the perfection. Why do we avoid taking a leap of this size? Will people need to live end times? This journey is long. Imagine, to reach the capacity of the archetype, how long will it take? The path is long. By one of the works of history, of the Creator's benevolence, of his benevolence, at a certain moment he allows any earthling to have access to the archetype. And who asks? No one asks. Remember what Amit Goswami said in the book, "It will take I don't know how many millennia for the earth to have the archetype of love, to be able to evolve, to have peace, love. But it is already available. Who wants it? I haven't received a request yet. Why not ask for the archetype of love? Isn't that amazing? It's not to make money. Is it fear? If we love, will we have problems? Oh, she said, it's a lack of belief. That's what she said. She confirmed the entire lecture I've given so far. What does that mean? They don't believe that there is an archetype, that everything has an atomic substance, they don't believe that everything is a wave, that one can have access to the archetype, etc., etc. That's right. Remember? Very well said. How can we prove this? It's easy. That's what resonance was created for. Could it be that Hélio is going crazy? So, let's do an experiment. I doubt it, I don't believe it, I'll do anything. That's not a problem. Come on, what do you want? Something like that. Take the CD. Go away. Press play. When the person comes back, what happened? Yeah, it happened. And now? I've already told you, remember? Years ago, someone came to me and said, "My sister is suffering from severe depression, there's no cure, etc." I listened to your radio program and concluded that there are only two possibilities, either you're a genius or a charlatan. I said, "Bring your sister." He said, "If you solve my sister's problem, I'll publicize your activities, because I'm in the media, etc." Bring your sister. 3 months later, her problem was over. But, where is her brother? He was skeptical and saw that what I said was proven. But what did he do? He went on TV where he works to say that, resonance exists, quantum mechanics exists, that everything is energy equal to information. Is it possible to transmit the archetype to a person? Would he want to go through that? No way. He would look like a madman. So, he kept quiet. All the skeptics who come to talk to me and agree to do the work, because in times of desperation you can do anything, then disappear. Once their problem is solved, they disappear. No one has yet said, "I'm going to disclose it." It's proven. They can bring me another case. This is science, it's physics. How many tests are necessary? They can bring 2, 3, 50, whatever they want. When you want to do scientific work, to prove the tool, what do you hear? It can't be done because there will be noise. There is noise in the research. Where do I need to be placed? In a cage, in a Faraday chamber, underground, and the other person miles away, so that the result can be measured? Do you know when this will happen, when resonance will be proven in this way? Never. Do you believe that people of the current paradigm will take the risk of doing an experiment that could destroy the paradigm? Because, from the moment it is proven, what will they do? Will they ignore it? That is what usually happens. They are ignored. When someone does work that changes the paradigm, they are ignored, called crazy. So, they end up giving up, moving abroad, consulting for oil companies, making a fortune, no one ever hears from them again, and everything is fine. They are happy, they become rich, and the world remains exactly the same.